Hi y'all, so you're back on here in another episode of Indigo Podcast, and today I'm just talking about doubt and how doubt's simply a test, but I got a little blurb right here, so I'm going to just go over that real quick to kind of get you into the mode of what I'm about to talk about. But the little blurb I wrote was, with life, doubt can come and go, no matter if it's others doubting your abilities or aspirations, or you yourself doubting your own identity and questioning who you are as a person. No matter the situation, doubt is simply a test. Doubt tests you to see if you're solid and have a strong foundation of consistency, discipline, determination, and resilience, or if you're brittle and lying to yourself. So I think a lot of people, they may doubt themselves and may question if they can do something or not, but that may just be because of a lack of consistency, and that leads to a lack of confidence because you don't have the consistent bricks built over time to foretell what you think you could do or what you can or cannot do, because that likely leads to limiting mindset because you're not confident what you're doing because you haven't proven to yourself that you have been consistent enough and put in enough work and determination or whatever, however you address it, to get to where you want to be or where you are right now. But that's just a little kind of, I guess, context or prelude to what I'm about to get into. Like I typically do, I got five main things I think that relate to doubt and how it can help you out on navigating doubt and navigating the doubt of others. But first thing, speaking of navigating the doubt of others, doubt is only dangerous when you doubt yourself, because anyone and everyone can doubt you. Everyone can be against you and everyone can hate your guts. But if you start feeling that way, that's when it starts getting dicey, because I think most of it's just how you perceive yourself, because obviously I kind of talked about before, people wanting an appraisal of others and looking out for people to say, oh, you did good, and oh, you're doing your thing, you're great. But when you're really great, people don't really have to tell you. But if you're good, you know, if you're trying to be good in life, I think that's when you're looking like, okay, did I do this good? What do you think? Like, how do I look in comparison to you? But if you're great, you kind of just do your thing and people just compliment you, or I guess not like you're a god or anything, but they'll comment on what you're doing positively and say, hey, like that helped me out. Hey, good, you know, kudos to you. That kind of just happens if you're just rolling and doing what you set out to do, being consistent, holding your standard. But anyway, I just don't, when you start doubting yourself and being like, I'm not sure if I can do this, and you start thinking you're a phony and you start questioning what's going on, that's when it really starts getting in your head, and that's when you start, like, it's a self-limiting mindset, because you're the bounds of where you think you can go just get so slim when you start doubting yourself. Now, obviously when people say you can't do this or why are you doing this way, that's wrong. That can be I've experienced it. It can be very discouraging, and you feel like people, like, you don't feel welcomed at all. You feel like isolated, and you feel like, oh, you're so abnormal in comparison to other people. But it's just you have a different standard than them, and they may be envious or they may be fearful. Because a lot of people, I don't even know what my hair's doing. My hair is acting up. Anyway, ignore my hair. When people are envious and they're fearful, they project that onto you to make you fall to where they're at. I'm not saying that you're so above them, but you know what I mean. They're trying to shift the trajectory of your life because they're not happy with the inconsistency and doubt they have within themselves. So they want to project on you to project what's going on in their life onto you, so you can suffer the same consequences they are. So I just think, obviously, you will likely be discouraged for a little bit when people say, why are you doing this? You can't do this. You, like, why are you even doing that? Why even try? I understand that you'll 100% be discouraged, but you can take that discouragement, reflect on it, and realize, this is me. This is what I want to do, and this is what I think is best for me, and this is how I see it. Obviously, some people can be like, constructive criticism, like they'll give you constructive criticism and say, okay, maybe you can do it a better way, and that's when you're a student and you learn from them. But a lot of people just say stuff because they're scared and they feel like you're impeding on what they're doing because they have no consistency, and they see the bar being raised and they don't want to raise it, so they want to lower it so where they feel comfortable. So first thing I just want to say, doubt's only dangerous when you doubt yourself. Anyone, I don't freaking know, Shrek could doubt you, and it doesn't matter if that doubt doesn't impede on your self-perception of yourself. Well, I mean, self-perception of yourself, your perception of yourself. You know, just keep being consistent, keep doing what you're doing, and keep the ball rolling. But next thing I want to talk about, doubt is subjective. I think the way you look at doubt, it determines the trajectory of your decisions and how your life ends up. Because I would say last week I kind of explained it on, I believe it's episode 41. I kind of explained it a little bit, but my sleep is a little bit off. And when you don't really sleep the best, and it's like consistently bad sleep, your mind starts to play tricks on you. So obviously my mind was playing tricks on me. So I was kind of like questioning certain things and being like, obviously I was still doing the exact same thing I do and holding my standard, but in my mind it's just something didn't feel right. But when the nights of sleep picked up, I was back to home base in terms of my mind. But anyway, I was just trying to connect it to this. So basically, I just think doubt is a trickster. Doubt tries to make you think a certain way, make you think you're a phony, make you think you're not who you say you are and who you want to be. It just makes you question things that shouldn't really be questioned, because honestly, if you're questioning yourself repeatedly, you're wasting time. So if you look at that doubt like, okay, I'm being tested, like something, life is trying to test me right now, instead of looking at it like, oh my gosh, like, why am I doubting myself, like, oh, this is so bad, instead of dwelling on it, just look at it like, okay, I'm being tested, and am I gonna lean into the doubt and just begin doubting myself and conforming to what other people say or what my mind is trying to tell me, even though that's incorrect? Or am I gonna lean into it, accept it, and just keep rolling? Like, I feel like that's the two main choices you have. And I think the main thing I realized, that it's okay to doubt yourself, because I feel like everyone and anyone doubts themselves. It's just people hide it a little bit better than others, to be honest. I saw a post earlier. I always mention Casey Kelly. I follow him, so I'm gonna mention him again. I saw his story, and he's talking about how he was experiencing a little bit of burnout, and just mentally he was going through a little bit of things. And I feel like when you see that from people that are kind of on the same, not same path, but they're as like-minded as you, and you see that, I'm not gonna lie, that made me feel a little bit better about the situation. Because sometimes when you see, like, let's say the Michael Jordans, Kobe Bryants, and David Goggins, and you see all the hard things they do, and you just think they're robots. In reality, they're not. They deal with self-doubt. They just learned over time, with constant stimulus of dealing with self-doubt and doubts from others and just going through adversity, they learn how to deal with it better than a typical person. And I just realized that going through these spurts, because it'll come around every now and then, you just learn how to deal with it better, and you just build resilience, and you build more of a capacity to deal with it. But that's subjective on how you look on it. That was a mouthful of words. Doubt is subjective depending on how you look at it. You can look at it as a moment of dwelling, or you can look at it as a test and lean into it. So that was number 2. But third one, I've kind of mentioned this before, prove yourself right. Because as I mentioned before, everyone can doubt you, everyone can question you, everyone can belittle you, but I think the main objective is to prove yourself right. Do what you set out to do, exactly what you set out to do. Because a lot of people, they claim they want to do X, Y, and Z, but they don't put in the consistent efforts or go out of their way to make time to do it. So if you're lying to yourself, you're not really proving yourself right. Because I think a lot of people, the saying, prove them wrong, or, stun on them and whatever, and, just trying to make your point and get your point across. But I think, in my opinion, the main objective in terms of just life in general, proving yourself right, holding your standard, and making sure you're proud of yourself. Because, Susie could be proud of you, but if you're not proud, you're just going to feel empty and you're going to feel unfulfilled. But when you prove yourself right, time in, day out, and you do exactly what you set out to do, obviously there'll be some changes somewhat, but when a standard is set and you're determined and it's a non-negotiable, it's just a different type of feeling, because you're just repeatedly, consistently doing what you set out to do, which will most likely, I'm gonna say most likely, because like I kind of stated before, success isn't guaranteed, failure is guaranteed. You'll keep going and keep building to where you want to go, and then you'll end up proving to yourself that you can do anything you set your mind to. It doesn't matter what Simon or Jim says, talking about, oh, you did so well, and like you're proving them wrong, or however the situation may be. The most important thing, in my opinion, and I think a few people agree, is just proving yourself right and making sure that you're happy and you're fulfilling exactly what you said you wanted to do and what you want to do in the future. But main objective, make sure you make yourself proud, follow your own beliefs, values, and standards, and don't conform to others just because they're concerned or they're belittling you, and you end up trying to prove them wrong. In reality, you should prove yourself right. But anyway, enough about proving yourself right. Fourth thing I'm gonna talk about is doubt can make or break you, make and break you. I mean, either or. But anyway, doubt can make or break you, and I've kind of have a situation with this because when I used to play sports, like I think doubt and nervousness kind of go hand in hand. So I used to be kind of doubtful of my abilities. I wasn't as consistent. So to each their own, that could be a reason why. But most of it, I think, was mental because I was just scared. Like I felt fearful of what could go wrong, and what if I mess up and people laugh, and what if I mess up and coach might yell at me. It's just, I felt like kind of scared, like kind of like a prisoner or whatever. I guess that's a good analogy. But that fear and nervousness and doubt just crept into how I performed, and that ultimately determined how I performed. It was most of the time not the best, and I felt like I was kind of missing something. But that's the thing, the beauty. That's why I love consistency so much, because as you're consistent over and over and over again, you build this unbreakable confidence that you're going to do exactly what you said you're going to do, no matter how long it takes. So as that came in present time, it's just, obviously there might be a little bit of nervousness, but I don't think it's doubt. You're just a little bit, I call it curious. You're curious about what's about to happen. You're not particularly nervous. So I just think, because I saw it's just when I was doubtful and questioning and kind of scared, to be honest, I think doubt leads to fear most of the time. You honestly, if not all the time, you just underperform and you just feel empty because you know something greater is there. And then it's not, well, okay, let me rephrase. I don't even think it's the fact that it's the doubt, is just your perception of it, and the doubt just taking over everything you've done, and it just determines the whole trajectory of that outcome. And I just think when you're consistent, and which will lead to confidence, it kind of combats doubt. Like it's doubt versus confidence, and they're fighting in your head, and you're gonna see which one wins depending on how consistent you were and what you've endured and the adversity you've been thrown into. So I just think it can make or break you, and when it breaks you, it can be a soup sandwich. But if it makes you, you learn how to be more resilient, you build more grit, and you just learn how to lean more into adversity and be more present and endure the process. But that's what I kind of wanted to mention sports, because I really experienced that a lot when I was younger, and I just think that was, obviously there's a multitude of factors, but I think that was one of the main reasons that it wasn't even stage fright. It was like, I guess, play fright. I don't even know how to categorize it. It's a certain word for it. If I find it, I'll put it on the screen here. I know some certain terminology for it, but yeah, doubt can make or break you depending on how you look at it. I kind of addressed that earlier, the perspective, yada yada. Anyway, fifth thing and last thing I want to talk about, there's always the other side at the end of the tunnel, because going back to the sleep thing I was talking about like last week, when I, rested up, sleep went up, vitality went up, I realized that like that was temporary. Like it was just a little test, like a little 1 to 2 day test, and it passes. I think anything that's, you're suffering through, no matter if it's a breakup or maybe you bombed a test, or maybe you're just going through some things in your head and you're questioning yourself, is temporary. I don't think it lasts forever. It can last forever if you make it last forever, but overall it doesn't last forever. And then when it passes, you just really realize that life is way grander than it seems. It's it sounds corny, but it's a roller coaster. And I heard this term, I believe it was Nico Felice. I think he said something like that. But he's like, don't get too high in the highs and don't get too low in the lows. Because whenever stuff gets low, it's really easy to just lean into that. And I don't know, when I think of a low, I just think of a dude in his basement eating Cheetos and watching freaking the Lego movie. I don't know, like just they're low, like they're just in the lowest state. But when someone's like high, not like loaded high, but I mean, like they're in a like grand moment in their life. They just feel on top of the world. Their ego is ecstatic. They just feel like $1 million. You know what I'm saying? So I just think a lot of people in the highs, they can get too I guess reckless and too big headed, and in the lows people can get too, what's a good word for this? They're not, let me think. They're just very unaware and very uncaring, and they're just, it's just a lack of intentionality behind it. But I think the main thing to realize is whenever you're doubtful, whenever you're going through a hard time, I feel like there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. No matter when it comes or however it looks, I feel like there's always another way to learn and just endure it and let that pass. But yeah, I feel like doubt is a very interesting thing. And like I said in the beginning, I think it's a test. Just like anything is very simple, it's definitely not easy. It can be a very good trickster, and it can very easily trick you into thinking certain things and potentially doing certain things that you may or may not want to do. But that's episode 43, just talking about doubt. 'Cause I think doubt is a self-limiter, and it can limit a lot of people from doing whatever they wanted to achieve. Because I know a lot of people, they want to eat healthier and they want to train. They might want to run a 5K or run a marathon or whatnot, but they just think, oh, I doubt I could do that. I'm not really sure. Billy said I couldn't do it, so I can't do it. But in reality, once you convince yourself, I think it takes a little bit of delusion. Like, you got to be a little delusional at first and just be like, I can do this. And then the consistency leads with the delusion, and then the delusion becomes a reality, and that really becomes who you are and who you're working to become. And then that delusion is just real. Like, it's just crazy. So I think you got to be a little bit delusional at first. You might seem like a little bit crazy to certain people. Like, why are you running a 5K? You've done golf all your life. Why are you running? And then you start being consistent, and then it just takes off over time. But I just wanted to go over doubt, because I think a lot of people may be doubtful and may be unsure of certain things, but don't doubt yourself. Doubt's only dangerous when you doubt yourself, and just go all in and get after it. But that's episode 43, like I said, and I'm gonna see y'all next time.